This is the Honest Fit Life, but before we get into all that, wanted to give you full disclosure that we are not fitness trainers, doctors, or healthcare professionals. We are just everyday regular people that are sharing what has worked for us, and what has worked for us may not work for you. This is not meant to be a guide for weight loss or fitness training, just our experiences. So before beginning any weight loss program or fitness training, consult your doctor or healthcare provider. All right, everybody, I am David. We're kicking this thing off. I am here with my wife, Mandy, today,
Hi, everyone.
and our son, Gabe.
Hey everyone.
So, this episode, we're going to tackle a kind of controversial subject. Could be depending on how you're looking at it. The problems with diets and the type of foods that we eat. It's a broad topic. I mean, hopefully, we can get this all into one episode. If not, we will do it in a two-part thing. So, we're going to kick this off and kind of go over some of the different types of diets that are out there. Why they may or may not work. So this is kind of just discussion for everybody. I know there's a bunch of diets out there, a lot of fads is what I call them, a lot of trends, and I think they work to a point. I mean, you can see results on them, but my feeling with it is they're not sustainable. So when you get off the diet, what happens? You're going to revert back to your old habits. You're going to put on probably more weight than you lost to begin with, because your body is trying to get back to what it was.
Yes, I do agree with that. There's a lot of diets that I've seen out there, whether it's like a keto diet, Atkins. I know for a while Shakeology. I even saw this diet online the other day where people are eating like 800, 2,000 calories a day, and it's not sustainable. And I've seen a lot of people yo-yo diet throughout the years.
Right.
And it's because it's not sustainable. It's, you're paying a company to tell you what to eat. You're paying a company to send you food of what to eat. You're not actually learning of why you're eating the things. You're not learning to kind of do it on your own.
Right.
The psychology behind it of, I need to eat this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, when you go off of a lot of these diets, you revert right back.
Right.
Because it's not a lifestyle change. It's a diet.
With some of these, you're essentially starving yourself to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't effectively starve yourself indefinitely.
Yeah.
So at some point, if you cut your calories in half, you're going to have to add calories back in. And in my opinion, when you do that, when you starve yourself, your body's literally in starvation mode.
Yes.
And it's wanting initially to hold on to everything it can to store in fat reserves to keep you alive.
Yes.
And at some point with that deficit, your body will start burning the fat because it has nothing else to burn. But it's the moment you start introducing calories back into it, your body is going to grab onto those, restore them in your fat supply in case you hit that again, in case your body goes through that again. I mean, your body doesn't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just on a natural biological course. And so it's not aware, hey, I need to lose 30 pounds and I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah. And diets typically will shock your body into, okay, I need to lose weight now. I mean, diets are very popular, like you're getting married or before the summer, coming off the holidays. So you go on a diet to lose that weight. Well, you're going to put it back on as soon as the wedding's over or as soon as the holidays come back around again, because you're not training yourself.
Right.
You're not actually learning of actually how to have a healthy lifestyle instead of following a sheet of paper.
Right. I mean, it's basically you're doing a crash course, and it's just, like an accelerated, fat burn. But at the end of that, your body's going to want to restore what it lost.
Well,
and, without changing your lifestyle, I mean, what do? I mean, you, like I said, when you're on these diets and you're limiting your calories and you're eliminating, carbs or whatever it is, when you start reintroducing those things, your body's going to freak out.
Yes.
And for me, that logic right there says it's not sustainable. I mean, you can't stay in that state forever. And you're eventually going to have to go back to some course of normal life, normal diet, or what have you. And, my feeling with it is a lot of people, when they go through such an extreme of, calorie starving or, your carb deficits, all those diets, at the end of it, you're craving that stuff. I mean, you may make it through the whole program,
Right.
but at the end of that, you're like, man, I just really want, this, or I really just am craving that. And those cravings, I'm not aware of a way to deal with those cravings naturally that you can fight that off when you get
Yeah.
to that point.
I mean, to lose weight, pure and simple, you have to be in a calorie deficit. You have to be burning more than you're taking in.
Right.
That's the only way to do it. You can live on McDonald's, you
Mhm.
can eat nothing but sugar all day, but as long as you're burning more,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to lose weight.
Right.
But that's not sustainable either, and you're not going to be healthy in the process.
Right. Right.
So
I
that's
mean,
not smart.
and you can lose a lot of muscle
Mhm.
mass through some of these things. I mean, your body isn't very discriminative. It
Mhm.
burns whatever it has to stay alive. I mean, that's its main function, is survival. And that's what I feel is the biggest problem with these trend diets or these extreme dieting measures.
Mhm.
I'm not a fan of any kind of pill. I don't think there's a magic pill to fix things.
No.
I mean, what it's doing is it's shutting off part of your brain. It may be curving the cravings and this and that, but every pill you take has a side effect.
Yeah.
And sometimes those side effects do not outweigh the benefit of
Yeah.
it. I'm not a fan of taking any kind of pill. There's no easy way to do it. I mean, weight loss or healthy living is a lifestyle,
Mhm.
and it's a commitment, and
Yeah.
it's not just a get there fast thing. I want bikini season's 3 weeks away. I need to shed 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Those things aren't sustainable, and it puts your body through so much stress.
Yeah.
You can have hair loss and all kinds of other things through some of these diets. I mean, your body just literally goes into shock. So, what are some of the healthier ways somebody can go about it? I mean, we have a story. I mean, we looked at these things. For us, we cut out sugar and processed foods. So if it came in a can or a box, we stopped using it. If there was any kind of sugars, our processed sugars, high fructose corn syrup, we eliminated
Mhm.
all that stuff right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And I'll say it was probably one of the hardest things to do.
Well, high fructose corn syrup sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine.
Right. And trust me, I felt
It was bad.
I went through it. Cold sweats, headaches, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
As your body's trying to get back to normal, and you're literally fighting off an addiction. But eliminating those things, I mean, although they taste great,
They do.
And trust me, I love my donuts. I mean,
Yeah.
I love so much of that. And
Yeah, and we have them occasionally here and there,
It's
but
very
for a
rare
long
now.
time. But we went off it for a long time. Like I said in the previous podcast, that you need to teach your body to learn to live without it.
right. And the cravings do go away. I mean, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like any addiction. I mean,
But then they come back sometimes, and it's like, yeah. But by that point, when they kind of come back, you have the willpower and you have the knowledge to go. Okay, like yeah, I've had donuts, I've had
Mhm.
ice cream, I've had cake, I've had candy, I've had all kinds of stuff.
mm-hmm.
But I'm not eating it every day,
Right.
all throughout the day,
Right.
like I was.
Right. And not with a certain frequency.
Yeah,
And
on
it-
top of all these other bad foods I was eating, on top of all that stuff.
Mhm.
So
I mean, one cool thing about this is you can have cheat days, and it's actually
Yes.
good to have cheat days and kind of throw your body, keep it guessing.
mhm.
Diets can get you into your body into a routine, and you'll plateau. And so what may be working for a little bit only goes so far, and your body's like, okay, I know what you're doing. I'm expecting this, so I'm going to shift gears on my own to do what I need to do. And so throwing some of those things into it, a cheat day or whatever, can throw your body out of whack and keep it on its toes.
Right. Yeah, a diet or a lifestyle. I mean, diets. This is the thing because it's 24/7 most of the time with a diet. With a lifestyle, your food intake should be about 80/20. 80% healthy, whether it's throughout the week. So whether you're having a cheat day or say you have 2 cheat meals
Right.
or 3 cheat meals or a week,
Mm-hmm.
that's more than okay.
Right. So, Gabe, what are your thoughts? You've been pretty quiet so far.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but you started this for us. You were actually already in this mindset of this stuff's not good.
Yeah. I mean, from watching people talk about how they're, eating healthy basically, and I mean, they're on diets, but not necessarily, I guess. Like they kind of like choose like foods from diets, like certain diets that are like good and healthy or whatever, and that can like fill their bodies with like the right nutrients or whatever. Um, but yeah, from watching them, I was like, yeah, I'm like eating some bad stuff or whatever, like processed foods, and I was
Right.
like, is this like really good for me? Like, and so I made like kind of like the decision to start like eating a little bit healthier, and and then plus with like working out, and I just started feeling better, so I kept on doing it, and then eventually, yeah, we did start throwing out the processed foods and those boxes and stuff like that, and actually making like fresh like food basically, which is good, and that is like sustainable, like cooking your own food and like knowing what is in your food basically is good to know.
Right.
Like when you cook, you know what you're putting in your food instead of like getting it out of a box and not really knowing, because people don't look at the ingredients of like stuff and like what is in it. Yeah, but diets, it's kind of a little bit of like a scam, whatever. Like there's a lot of them that tell you things like do this, and especially like some diets like tell you to eat like this like certain food or whatever, but eat like a ton of it. To like keto diet or whatever. There's like a thing of like you eat like a ton of fat to put your body in like this process, and then it like loses like weight or something like that. But it just honestly depends on like what your body is basically. Like some diets can work better for another person than like you basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because I know people that are on like vegan diets or whatever, and they don't feel well. Like they don't feel like they don't feel energy basically when they eat. Like they like feel kind of like more dead, and they're not as energetic and things like that. But when they eat, when they go back to like meats or whatever, and like or like fish, etc., like they felt like a lot better. Like they
Right.
felt more energized and things. But
Right.
they were also talking to a person, these two people that were on vegan diets, but they felt like fine. Like they felt energetic when they eat vegan. So it's just, it depends on what your body needs, because every body is a little bit different, of what it needs and how it operates, and and things like that. So yeah, just watch what you're eating basically. Just look into these diets, like actually, instead of just like clicking on something and like just following it, instead of like doing your own research.
Yeah, because
and
it's
stuff
the
like that,
latest
so.
trend, and so many people that it's worked for. It's like it may
Yeah.
not work for you.
Right.
It's like trend diets. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, fad diets.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure all these diets do work. I mean, people, you can lose weight on them,
Yes.
but what happens afterwards? And that's what and obviously the creators of these
Yeah,
diets aren't going to broadcast that. They're not going to say, yeah, you can drop your 20 pounds, but you're going to put on 25 when you get off of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, and also the keto, like when, you hear all these people, and I know people personally in my life, they've tried every diet out there. I mean, let's put it this way. If you're going on a diet and 6 months later, 3 months later, or whatever, you go off of it, you don't want to do it anymore, it's not sustainable.
Right. Right. And you're going to end up
Period.
a lot of times worse than when you started it.
Mm-hmm.
And so going with alternatives, actually changing your lifestyle. So Gabe, you were talking about, the processed foods. I mean, half the stuff in there I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
I have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
It's chemicals, and just
Yeah.
common sense logic tells me that chemicals are not food.
Preservatives.
Preservatives
As well.
and whatever else they add to it to make it do its thing to
Mhm.
taste a little better or whatever.
Or like color wise, like look a
Right.
certain way.
I mean, food is vegetables, things that are grown, animals, cows, that's food, right? Chemicals and whatnot, that's not necessarily food. It's a food additive that they've put into stuff. So if you really start looking at those things, and you can have an adverse, reaction or, problems from some of those preservatives.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is made differently on some level, and some things affect people more than others. Basically, you can have sensitivities, food sensitivities or chemical sensitivities. I mean, everybody's got something.
Mm-hmm.
And so changing that lifestyle and eliminating the convenience. And trust me, it is convenient to grab something frozen, from the freezer, slap it in the microwave, and poof, there's dinner.
Yep.
Or you hit the drive-through, any of that's all convenient. And yeah, the stuff tastes good.
Yep.
You're hitting a craving. You're satisfying, that desire.
Yep.
But that's a short-term gain to a long-term problem.
Yes. And it's a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. And with some of these things, sugar in particular, you have diabetes. I know that, excessive sugar can be, they're now saying it could be linked to Alzheimer's and a lot of really bad things that happen later on in life. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you're putting in your body now, you may not have problems for quite a while, but they eventually do turn into a problem.
Yes. And sugar destroys your gut, your gut health, which your gut health is linked to depression and anxiety and your mood and just all, your energy. And it's linked to so many things. And sugar just, if it clogs it and it's causing so many issues, you're going to be tired all the time. You're going to be moody. You could have depression,
Right.
anxiety, and all kinds of other issues.
Well, and that
which isn't good.
And so when we started this journey, that was the number one thing that lit up in my head when you were telling me this stuff.
Same.
That leaky gut and what the side effects from that can be. It was like slowing down mentally, feeling fatigued, trouble sleeping, all those things. It's like, I definitely don't feel like I used to. I'm having a hard time, forming sentences and, having, any kind of coherent thought sometimes. It's like, it's like I got tongue tied. I just got stuck. I'm like, what's that simple word? I can't put my finger on it now.
Yeah. Well, and then it's a vicious cycle. You got brain fog, you got fatigue, you may have some depression or even anxiety, then you're tired, then you're not sleeping at night, and then round and round you go. Because of the food you're eating. Next thing you know, it's a year later, it's 5 years later, it's 20 years later.
So where does that leave us? At the end of the day, it comes down to making some hard choices. You got to commit to it. I'm going to cut out all this unnecessary sugar, although it tastes great. It's actually literally killing you.
Yeah.
And so you eliminate that, and then you look at, the processed foods. I can't just take something, pasta sauce that's in a jar. All those things. I mean, even the panko breadcrumbs. You start really looking at what you think is just a, dry piece of bread that they ground up. No, it's not. There's a lot of other things in there. I mean, if you like breadcrumbs, learn to make them yourself. And that's the thing. It's like this journey, and I guess think about it as going back 150 years before we had all these modern conveniences where you literally made your food.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to that quite
I'm
that
not
extreme.
saying I'm not saying go grow your food.
I'm not saying quite that extreme. I mean,
But
you can. There are places you can go, like Trader Joe's, or even a place like that, where it is more organic instead of going like to Walmart, like your local grocery store.
Well, yeah, you can get
You're
better
spending more
quality
money.
produce,
Yeah,
but
you can get a lot better quality produce, but it's really paying attention to what you're eating.
yeah, see,
Because
I'm
you can kind of be surprised.
yeah, I'm talking about getting rid of the stuff that comes out of a box. The add water, boil kind of stuff.
Yes.
Where it's simple, and 20 minutes later, there's dinner for the family.
Yeah, like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
That's a classic. You get it in a box.
Mm-hmm.
You add water.
Another great one. Everyone knows this. The orangey colored macaroni and cheese.
Yes.
That's got some kind of powdered cheese, or if it is even cheese at that point. Everybody loves it, and it's convenient and it's quick.
Yes.
But do you really know what's in it? Do you know what those things are going to do to you? Now, for me, I became the household chef when we started this journey. I like to cook. I'm kind of an off-the-wall thinker, like being creative. I like experimenting with food. So I decided, instead of doing cookbooks and stuff like that, which would have probably in some cases been a better idea, I just started combining herbs, making simple pastas. We went with a lot of pasta in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'll
say we still eat pasta.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do, but we do it, in more of a constructive way than just every meal's pasta.
Yeah.
Whether it's a red sauce pasta or, we came up with this shrimp pasta. I mean, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
And it basically had a weird concoction of herbs and spices in it, with a bunch of olive oil. It was like a very light sauce.
Yeah.
With, pre-cooked shrimp that we just basically, tossed in with it, and almost kind of like a stir fry in a way.
A little bit.
Top it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and it was.
It's amazing.
So here's one thing that I really want you to think about. When you eat that great meal that you get in the drive-thru that comes in a bag,
Mm-hmm.
and you're all happy when you eat it, What happens about 15, 20 minutes later? You want to go take a nap.
Yeah, you want to take a
Mhm.
nap, or you're like,
Yeah.
oh, kind of,
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
know, that's
I've had like plenty of those like stories or whatever with eating like fast food or whatever, like going quick, you know, and you just like feel super tired afterwards. You're like, why? I just want to like take a nap right now, and it's like really weird,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like your body, it's like trying to break down whatever you just ate, basically,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, and that's what gets you tired and just filling you with like whatever it is.
Right.
Because sometimes it could not even be a real food, honestly.
Right.
yeah, you
And
don't, yes. Most time you don't know what
The
it is.
difference is with like home cooked food or whatever, or you know, just more organic, natural foods. It's like it gives you energy. Like food should give you energy. It should, you know, power you through the day, things like that. And it shouldn't like, you know, oh, I want to take a nap after I eat. That's so
Yeah.
it's not good.
Or I just swallowed a boat anchor and it's sitting in my stomach,
Yeah,
holding me
that-
down to the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that feeling you have in your stomach, like you just ate a brick.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
Off.
swallowed a
Yeah.
brick and it's going to stay with me for a while. So one of the first things I realized, there's a couple things, but big thing, taste. I mean, it's amazing when you get rid of some of this stuff, how good food can really taste. When you
Oh.
break it down, make it a little simpler, a little cleaner, it's like it is very satisfying. You know, it's clean. It doesn't have like, you know, maybe I'm not cooking with like a lot of layers and dimensions to the you know, flavor profiles of stuff. It's clean and simple. I mean, I'm still cooking at like a basic level.
Yeah.
But the big thing with this is, you know, after dinner you sit down and you're like, you know what? I actually feel good. I feel light. You know, my body's already breaking this down. It's already converting it into energy, and I feel good. I don't feel like, you know, I can't move for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things I realized, you know, and then I never really paid attention to that before. You know, it's just, you know, it's common. You eat, you sit down, you kind of feel sluggish for a little bit, and then you get going about your day.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how wrong that was.
Yeah.
And, you know, so just basically eliminating these things and starting to, you know, cook at home made such a difference. You know, I mean, obviously there's a lot of downsides to cooking. You have dishes and it's, you know, it takes time, you know.
Yeah, more groceries.
So I will tell you one other big thing. It's a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
Our food bill got cut basically in half. If not, we eliminated a third of the grocery cost by doing these simple foods and
Mhm.
cooking it yourself. I mean, you know, and you can take a lot of these same ingredients and make new things out of them.
Yep.
You know, and you start getting pretty creative.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot more work. I mean, I know for David and I can't remember what Gabe used to eat. David used to have cinnamon rolls in the morning.
Oh,
His
yeah.
classic cinnamon rolls we got
The
from
Costco.
Costco.
The mini cinnamon rolls.
I
that
would
come in a round
literally,
tub.
yes, I would literally go around town to find them when they were sold out, and he would have 4 of them in the morning, and that's what he ate.
That was my breakfast.
Yeah,
Man.
I would have coffee, Pop-Tarts, toaster pastries, they're quick, easy.
Oh, I forgot
They're-
about Pop-Tarts.
Yeah,
Pop
and the toaster pastries, I used to buy
Mhm.
a ton of those. Ones you pop in the toaster and you put the icing on them. But guess what? It's a button and a button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Take it out of the box, you hit a button.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're making oatmeal.
Mm-hmm.
So raw oatmeal, not prepackaged oatmeal.
Right. Not your little
Yeah,
packages.
and
Yeah,
we're
just,
adding-
It's just oats. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
just oats, and we're adding like vanilla and cinnamon, and we cut up banana and put in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's much more steps. But guess it only takes like an extra 5-10 minutes,
Right.
and it can affect your whole day.
Well, you're setting up your day with with a
Yes.
good solid
And
breakfast.
it tastes awesome.
It
It almost
really
tastes
does.
like French toast, but it's real raw ingredients.
Mm-hmm. And I will say that through going through these lifestyle changes, you realize how much you can love a different type of food.
Mhm.
You know, stuff that used to have these cravings for. So now I get cravings for these healthier foods. I mean, it sounds a little weird, but you know, we do a lot of plain simple rice and shrimp.
Yep.
And you know, or rice with or you know, we do it with rice and chicken, rice and shrimp. I do this little pasta dish that has chicken in it, just grilled chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit of teriyaki sauce. It's got salt, pepper, oregano, and dry chives.
Yep.
It's and a little bit of olive oil. Super simple. So I cook only with olive oil. I don't use vegetable oil.
Yeah.
I do use butter here and there depending on the type of sauce I'm making.
Yeah.
but I'm controlling how much is going in it and what brand I'm buying or whatever. I get the power now to pick and choose what I'm putting in my body.
Yep.
Instead of what comes in the bag.
Yeah.
Or whatever's coming out of that box.
Yep.
And it's really not hard. I was surprised how easy this is. So when we first started, we were traveling for work a little bit, and that forced us to eat out when we weren't home. That was a big one. What do you do when you're not at home?
Yeah.
What choices do you have that you can,
That's hard.
It is. So you really start looking at the menus, and you're watching, you make guesses, you make assumptions. That this is a fairly simple food. They probably couldn't have added a whole lot to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably clean enough that I can handle it for a little bit, or count it as a cheat day.
Yeah.
If I had to, and then
Yeah.
I just need to make sure that, I'm watching, that I'm eating clean for a little bit again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's ways to do it, but it becomes habit. And that's the whole thing. You do this, it becomes habit. It's a new way of life. And it's not a diet. And it's something we're 2 years in.
Mm-hmm.
We're a little over 2 years in with this.
Yeah.
And it was ingrained in the way we look at food, how we think about food. Like I said, your taste buds kind of develop to it. And I'm constantly searching for new types of foods to add. I'm always thinking, what can I do? I discovered that, I still have a George Foreman grill. We've had it for years, didn't know I even had it. It was buried in a cupboard.
Yeah.
When we recently redid our kitchen, found it. I'm like, those are cool. George Foreman grill. They're simple. They cook really fast.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not cooking with anything. I'm not using anything that's got a lot of fat in it, but it still drains all that off.
And
it's
it actually
simple.
cooks faster than your Instapots or air fryers.
Right. So like chicken in the oven at 350 degrees takes 12 minutes for like a chicken breast.
Yeah.
And in my George Foreman grill, I set it at 350 degrees. It's 5 minutes. It's cooking from both sides.
Yeah.
And it's actually juicier. Doesn't dry it out as much. It's simple. It's like, so what can I do with chicken now? So now I'm kind of playing with, ideas of what I can do with a chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
What can I combine it with to make something different? Because I did in the beginning kind of realize that, we only have, so many options at our disposal. And, it started getting boring.
Yeah.
Like we're having the same thing. It's like,
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to switch things up here and there.
Right. It almost came down to the point that we were having, tacos on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Shrimp pasta on Thursday. And, and it was like,
Yeah.
it started becoming too much routine. And I didn't want it to get to that point. Because then that's when you start looking for other alternatives again, going back to, well, in that hamburger, in the drive-thru just sounds great.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of, just constantly branching out and being creative with it. So, but, and that's, I guess, long story short, that's kind of the path we're on. I don't know if you guys want to go into some of the other types of foods we eat. It is very basic stuff. We eat a lot of bananas.
Yeah.
Yes.
We eat a lot of pineapple. Because we're still you still need sugar, but we're wanting to do it in more of a natural form.
Yeah.
More of an organic, natural form. Strawberries are great. Oranges are great. Like I mentioned, we do a lot of rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use plain white rice, not the instant stuff. I do it in the Instapot.
Yeah.
So it's not your minute rice. I would love to get into more of the whole grain rice, which is a lot harder to cook. So
yeah, it's a little more complicated.
Yeah, I have yet to get in and play with that.
I mean, we eat pasta. We do have bread.
Right.
It's a decent bread, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a homemade type bread.
Fewer ingredients in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's not that many. Yeah, if you look
Yeah,
at
there's
the
actually not many.
facts on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to see like first ingredient being wheat.
Yeah, we eat a lot of
water.
Yes.
not not stuff you can't pronounce and it looks like it.
yeah, or even high
could make
fructose
a
corn
nuclear
syrup,
weapon.
because that can be in breads.
Right. It's gonna do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we eat a lot of tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot,
Shrimp.
yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of
a lot
tuna.
of tuna.
And stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, so part of this is because we're also in the gym, 3 days a week, pushing ourselves to grow and get bigger. So our protein intake is probably higher than most people would have.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as the chicken, the shrimp, and the tuna and stuff like that. We don't eat really any red meat.
No.
So many hormones and stuff in it. I mean, if you buy organic or like bison would be fine.
Yeah.
It is a little harder for your body to break down.
I
Red
mean,
meat.
I'll say if we eat red meat, I remember one particular time we ate out. This is a couple years ago. We ate out probably 2-3 times in the course of 2-3 days, just birthdays, celebration, things going on, and we had steak a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed like we were moodier, we were cranky,
Right.
we were on edge, and it's like, huh. And we hadn't been that way in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all, if you think about it, it's all the hormones that are pumped through beef.
Mm-hmm.
So, we tend to stay away from beef. I mean, if you buy organic, you have a good source, or if you buy, just direct from a farmer,
Right, from a
butcher,
rancher. Yeah.
from a rancher, that's always a great way to go. But we just, also cost-wise, it tends to be a lot of money. We're not ones that have steak 3 and 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's mostly why.
Exactly. So, not having that, we do have pork, pork chops and stuff like that. I love bacon. We don't have it very often.
Well, we have bacon bits.
Yes, bacon bits.
We have a really good bacon bits that we do buy.
Right, which is basically real bacon just chopped up.
Yeah.
It's a chopped bacon bit.
Yeah, it's not your average bacon bit.
A lot of chicken. And so, like, we eliminated ground beef a long time ago and went with ground chicken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fairly simple, not cooked.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is. And you can, with the tacos we do,
Mm-hmm.
do like a taco seasoning in it with
Yeah.
just the ground chicken. I think it tastes fantastic.
Yep.
All these things sit a lot lighter in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
My breakfast a lot of times consists of like a chicken sausage.
Yeah, which are amazing.
With, basically it's almost like a egg and cheese omelet.
Yeah.
Bowl of, oatmeal with bananas in it. And that's basically kind of my breakfast. Like I said, so I'm kind of, protein and carb heavy due to my workouts and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And recently I've been playing with carbs quite a bit. I tried carb cycling, going, high days, no days for a little bit, very little carbs. Go to a medium day and back to a high day. My body didn't care for it so much. It wasn't working for me. So it's either, I need to look at, was I not getting enough carbs in general, even on high days, to sustain what I was doing? I just felt so drained and tired from it that I decided, okay, let's just kind of scratch this for now. I need to get back on an even playing field with the carbs, and just kind of go back to what I was doing and not monitoring it so much and, not trying to go, well, I need, 300 grams of carbs today. And for me, I guess the diets and whatnot, I just lost my train of thought with it. Macros, where you're counting every little thing. For me, it's not sustainable.
Macros is huge.
It is.
In the weight loss industry, and I read about it all the time. People coaching directly with macros, people that have written cookbooks, sweet books on macros. For me, I personally feel if you have to count and add what you're eating, it's not sustainable.
No.
If I have to count and if I have to count and eat every single thing I'm eating, after a week I would be like, F no, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right. And
it would get annoying. It's not. Yeah.
I mean, I eat because I still enjoy food.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that kind of takes the enjoyment out of it and now makes it a chore. And no, it's not sustainable to keep track of everything and try to hit these numbers all the time. And for us, what we've realized is common sense. If you apply common sense to this, like obviously eating pizza 3 days a week is not common sense.
Yeah.
And having an excessive amount of protein or an excessive amount of fruit is not common sense.
Yeah, an excessive amount of carbs.
Yeah. And you just keep this stuff in balance.
Yeah.
And you get in tune with your body. I mean, I'm definitely at that point now that I can tell when I'm deficient on something.
Mm-hmm.
You pay attention to the cravings, and it's like I can tell when my blood sugar is starting to get a little low because I'll start craving fruit. And as long as you're paying attention to those things, it makes it much easier and a lot simpler.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I could tell I was carb deficient
Yeah.
going through the carb cycling, and I was miserable.
Right.
So, but reverse dieting is another one. So I'm kind of on that program right now. That I was probably fairly calorie deficient for a while, and
Yeah. So when you're bulking, you want to actually, get down even to a weight that you want to be at, and then you want to start adding muscle. What you do is called a reverse diet.
right.
Women, what I've seen, it can tend to work differently, because women's bodies are different. That's kind of what makes Gabe, and I kind of go around, because I'm not a guy. It's like the women diet culture is a little bit different of how women's bodies work. I have seen upon multiple times that women, they've done the yo-yo diets and stuff. They get these coaches that specialize in reverse diets. They go on a reverse diet. So reverse diet is you're taking in more calories.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Oddly enough, if you actually increase your calorie intake while lifting weights at the gym, you will actually lose weight quicker
Right.
than if you were in a calorie deficit. For women, this tends to be more true. Men, I'm not so sure. I don't think so.
Well, we'll find out because
women, our bodies like to hold on to fat. If we starve ourselves, we got the cortisol, we got stress. Our bodies like to hold fat.
Mm-hmm.
Women have a natural higher body fat than men
Right.
to be healthy. So if you're starving yourself, if you're hungry, your body's going to start storing that fat.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it can work. It depends what you're doing in the gym, obviously, how much
Mhm.
activity you're doing. But if you go on a reverse diet, you can actually see better results than
Right.
going on a calorie deficit.
Right.
But it's also for bulking. So if you want to add muscle, you need to eat way more calories.
Right. Right. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's only been a week since I've been on that
Yeah.
program.
I mean,
but-
calories and protein.
Right. But it's still, when you think of calories, it's not, like I said, it's not a Big Mac.
No. Yeah.
It's good, clean calories.
Yeah.
And that's, all of this really comes down to having foods that are clean. And that's it in a nutshell. That's as simple as it is if you start eating clean foods,
Mhm.
you can live it you can do it in a sustainable, normal way. And that's, like I said, so I dropped probably 30 pounds in the first year by doing nothing more than the cooking that we were doing at home,
Mm-hmm.
giving up sugar and all that, and then getting away from the processed foods and the drive-thrus and stuff like that. My go-to was Subway because I figured it's relative, it's basic ingredients.
Yeah.
So if I had to eat out, that was my choice. That I'd go have some kind of, sub sandwich or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Try to avoid the mayo and some of those things and just stick with lighter, basically just the vinegar and olive oil or whatever it's in it. But that's what worked for me. But yeah, clean, simple foods. And you will see the weight come off. It's not, a do it now diet.
Well,
it takes time.
Anything that's sustainable. Yeah, you can do your diets and you lose 30 pounds, 30, 50 pounds in 3 months.
Right.
Real progress takes patience.
Mm-hmm.
Real outcomes, it's going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It can take years.
Well, I wouldn't go that far with it.
It depends how much weight you got to lose, right?
Well, that's true.
If it's
Okay,
50
that's
pounds,
true.
but if, I hate to say, if you need to lose, say, 150 pounds, it could take you 2 to 4 years.
Right. But you're doing it in a slow,
very healthy
controlled way.
Yeah, and that's where people lose it. They lose the patience.
Right. Well,
and
who
that's
has
not
patience?
and that's not sustainable for you.
Right.
You haven't quite found that magic market of what's sustainable.
Right. And getting on that path, I feel you have the best chances for success
Mm-hmm.
when you can do this day in and day out and
Yes.
have it become just the way you think.
Yep.
And for me, I haven't put on any weight. I mean, I've gone through some rough patches, in the last year where I was kind of eating crappy again. We were eating out a little bit more at restaurants or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
but I still try to balance it.
Yeah.
You know, where it was like, you know, I'm counting that as my cheat day.
Yeah.
So, good foods. Obviously, I would, you know, say chicken is a great protein. It's relatively affordable. You know, right now the cost of proteins is getting fairly expensive in the
Yeah.
times we're living in with everything that's going on in the world. So protein's definitely getting more expensive. I love fish. That was the other thing. We had a lot of fish for a while.
Yeah, fish is good.
Fish is getting harder to find, and if you can, it's getting really expensive. So we're kind of cutting back on the fish. Gabe, what would you suggest would be good foods to look for?
I guess protein wise, yeah, chicken, like chicken breast is good. Like I mean, with fish, if it's not like easy to find, like this tuna cans is like a good way. It's got like 22 grams of protein in it, and that's a lot, honestly. If you eat like two or just one, but like two in a day, it's good. With like nutritional foods, like bananas is really high in nutrients, and like apples and stuff like that. Berries are good. But usually berries are kind of on the spendy end. So, I mean, you don't necessarily like need berries to like lose a
Right.
bunch of weight, but just find foods that like you like, but that are like healthy wise. That's what helped like us out. It's like tastes good, but it's good for you. Like it'll give
Right.
you energy and stuff like that. So it replaces that, you know, Big Mac or whatever, but it still has like that same taste. You still like them both. And eventually you start craving more of like those berries or that chicken or that
Mhm.
one meal that you made that
Mhm.
is good. So, yeah, pastas are really good.
Eggs. We
And
do a lot of eggs.
eggs are really good. Yeah, they're really high in protein and stuff, and it's like sort of lower calories, and it's higher in protein. Um, like sausages are good. It's like a little bit higher in fats, but it's more good fats, so you kind of get the fats and the protein out of that.
You're talking a chicken or turkey
That-
sausage, not
Like
not like
just-
a beef or pork sausage.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, oats are really good, like whole grains and stuff like
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
are really good. Especially, you know, in the morning, you can start your day off really good, you know, because it gives you energy. Like if you eat good carbs, it can, you know, fill your body with like energy instead of like defueling you basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beans are really good, you know, like fibers and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So you can like flush out your system.
Right. Well, beans have carbs. They have fiber. They have protein.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
like
a good thing.
we've been looking into possibly making our own chili because we never have.
Homemade chili.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, and I want to be able to do that here. I mean, yeah, you can go get a can, open the can up, you know, heat it up, and there's chili. There's dinner.
Yeah, but it's like what's in it? Yeah, you
Right.
could.
Yeah.
Don't get me
But-
wrong, you could.
Well, think about this though. When you're you know, going to make that chili, you know, I can pick the type of beans I want. You know, if I want it with meat or without.
Yeah, we can choose to make it. Do
Yeah,
we want it
and-
spicy? Do we want jalapenos in it? Do we don't? Do we want mild? Do we want to add? It's like you can make it what you want.
Right. To, you know, fit your exact taste, whatever you
Mhm.
want, you know. And like, so, you know, I'm planning on putting the chicken burger in it, ground chicken.
Yeah.
And kind of going from there. So it'd be a, you know, bean and meat chili. But you know, it's a good solid food. So yeah, eggs I would say, you know, are good. I mean, I know cholesterol, blah blah blah, whatever the bad studies were a long time ago that they didn't have reversed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, eggs are relatively affordable, and you
Mhm.
can do a lot with an egg.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can.
You know, I mean, different ways to use them, different styles.
Yep.
You know, good clean fats and carbs and proteins.
Yeah, it's a good way to go. Fats, proteins, and carbs. It's like those three are like good.
Right.
For your
Well,
body.
I mean, you
so.
need those things. I mean,
Yes.
peanuts are great for you. They have a lot of fat.
Yeah,
There are
peanuts
good. There are
good.
good fats that actually
Yes.
work with your body. And you know, it's like I went on this weight loss long time ago in my mid-20s. That, you know, I had a simple way of looking at it. I just won't eat anything with fat in it.
Yep.
And I didn't for a long time. I limited my fat intake to like 15 grams of fat a day.
And you need fats.
Here's the side effect of that. My hair actually started falling out because of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Your
know,
body needs
yeah.
fats.
Yes. And, you know, at that age, I didn't know any better. I just, you know, went, well, I'm smart. I can figure this out. I just won't eat anything with fat in it, and I'll lose weight. And I did.
Yeah,
You know,
well-
I did lose a lot of weight.
Well, and a
but,
lot of fat diets do that. A lot
Right.
of diets, low fat diet.
right. But like I said, it came with a price. You know, my hair never really came back after that. What fell out just kind of was gone. You know, so I definitely regret it now. So, realizing that, yeah, you need the fats and carbs are okay if they're
Yeah,
clean.
Like,
I mean, if you're getting carbs from,
I mean, like rice is a carb.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, rice is another good
The
food.
carbs that
Yeah.
are bad, I mean, you can even have bagels, that's fine, but like your muffins and your donuts and cake, that's bad carbs.
I wouldn't even go as far as going bagels, like croissants and bagels. I
Like
don't.
those are I would say those are more medium ground, but it's like, yeah, you can have those, but I wouldn't
Or
eat
even
them
like
daily.
white bread.
Right, I would call
But
that
like
a cheat day then.
white bread is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but to label every carb as bad is
Yeah.
Carbs are energy.
to me
It's
it's
fuel.
it's
Yeah.
uneducated nonsense.
Mm-hmm. So, and all those things, that we're talking about kind of all follow that same path. I mean, I'm sure at some point in time, some marketing guru went, milk's bad for you or whatever, and they come up with
There's
some,
people that do say that.
yeah, they come up with some
Yeah.
study to validate their point because they're trying to sell soy milk,
Yeah.
instead of dairy milk.
Well, like
Or eggs.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like milk, we drink 2% milk.
Mhm.
And I heard a while ago that the more milk is taken down, the more nutrients is taken out of it. So I decided, I was like, okay, let's try to actually 2% milk. Whole milk, I just can't do that.
Right. Well, we were
I'm
at
not gonna
1%
drink cream.
forever just because I thought, my same thinking, low
Because
fat.
but it's
you
stripping
lose
out the
weight.
calories of the milk. And I heard years ago, I actually heard people having conversation like, no wonder why people are so fat and they're overweight because they're drinking something that's supposed to make a cow grow. And a lot of people do cut out milk.
Right.
Like milk makes you fat. It's like, no, it doesn't.
But you get a lot of good stuff from it.
There's a lot of nutrients in
Yeah,
milk.
you can get some natural sugars from it.
Yes.
You can get protein from it.
Mm-hmm.
Calcium.
Vitamins.
Yeah, vitamins.
Yeah.
I mean, you start eliminating these things, they have the things you actually need as long as they're clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so much to this. I mean, we could probably go on forever.
Yes.
And everybody's got an opinion about it. I mean, you ask 10 people, you're going to hear 10 different things.
Exactly.
You
Like,
know,
Yes.
And I would just tell everyone out there that do your own research and kind of feel
Mhm.
your way out.
Yeah.
What makes sense for me?
Oh yeah, that's what I said in the beginning. It's like, do your own research. Like, look at what you're eating. Look at the back of, look at the labels of your food,
Mm-hmm.
and just see, like, what are you eating? Just, be curious and, like, look or whatever. Search stuff up, watch videos, but not just, like, one video and follow that
Right.
one person, but watch multiple. Look at other people, look at their stories, look at what they think and their opinions and things like that. Look at research and, like, just take a dive into it, and I will 100% guarantee you'll be surprised by something. So
Right.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it may sound confusing right now, or it may be a little overwhelming. It's like I have no idea, and first thought is I need to reach out to somebody. Well, you're reaching out to one opinion, and that opinion, just like with doctors, it may not work for you. And I'll just use the doctors for example. They know that this fits this. The studies show that this works for that condition or whatever, but it's based on the person too.
Yeah.
Like your body may not like it that way.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's for eating clean. My opinion, eating clean is good for everybody.
it is. There's,
Yeah,
there's
like,
no
yeah.
there's
But
no
it's
downside.
it's balancing that. Like, does your body actually need more fruits? Do you need more carbs than say a different person, or do you need more proteins than a different person? There's only variables within the eating clean. But other
Right.
than that, eating clean, it works.
It's straightforward and it's common
And
sense.
And it's actually kind of simple. Instead of counting your food or counting your calories or what have you, weighing your food.
Right. Or cutting out all, types
You can't
of
have
things
carbs. Yeah,
altogether.
you can't have carbs at all.
Right.
It's like there's carbs in everything.
Right.
It's like-
And you really start looking at these things. Like I said, that's why it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I would just encourage everyone that's listening to do a little basic research. If you start feeling overwhelmed, step back from it a little bit, and just maybe play with it, and you can experiment. I don't feel you're going to do yourself any harm by eating clean, by eliminating the stuff that comes out of a bag in a drive-through,
Yeah.
skip the food deliveries, and
like
stuff
pop and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not going to hurt yourself in any way, shape, or form by eliminating stuff that you really shouldn't be having in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just, make sure that, it kind of makes common sense. Like this is a balanced meal. You know, it's I've got some protein, I've got some carbs, there's some fiber in there.
Yeah, and nobody says it has to be plain. Like, people think vegetables are like, ew. It's like, get some amazing seasonings.
Yeah.
Grill it,
Cook it,
steam
yeah.
it, cook it, add it into make a stir fry. Like, you don't have
Like,
to
you
have
don't
this
have to be
plain
like a rabbit and
Yeah.
eat something raw.
No, because it's not
like,
sustainable.
you just have a bare chicken breast on your plate and you have like a pile of like lettuce. It's like, no, you don't have to do. Get fun with it, get creative with it, add seasoning, add like texture to your plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a million things you can do, and I'm just now starting to scratch the surface, and so that excites me. I'm looking forward to adding new things to the cupboard, and new things we can put on our plate. And as time goes on, it's like, yeah, this is really cool. And I'm really enjoying this type of lifestyle now, and I have zero guilt.
Yep.
I have zero guilt for what I'm putting in my body because I know what it is. And I know how it makes me feel.
Even when I have cheat days and I have cake or ice cream or cheesecake, I don't have guilt. I get back on track and I'm like, okay, like I'll be bloated for a couple days, but it's like I just had a birthday and I had fun for a couple days with food. I ate out. I'm not going to punish myself. I'm not going to spend extra time in the gym. I'm not going to run a few extra miles. It happened. I know I'll get back on track.
Well, definitely. So like I said, we can go on forever with this.
Yes.
I'm going to say this has probably been long enough. We'll probably revisit nutrition and whatnot as time goes on. Like I said, I'm on a new program right now that I'm basically kind of doing a reverse diet, trying to really pump up my calorie intake, band and ship on the carb cycling altogether. So, we'll keep everyone posted, with changes that we've gone through. And if we discover new stuff within this topic, we're certainly going to come back to it and relook at it. But been a lot of fun. Like I said, this is kind of controversial, but do your research, get out there, live healthy. Definitely make sure you guys follow us on social media and all that good stuff.
You can follow us on social media. For Mandy, it is honestfitlife_Mandy, and for me, it is honestfitlife_David on Instagram, or you can visit our website at honestfitlife.com. Be sure to consult your doctor or healthcare provider before beginning any weight loss or fitness training program. This has been a Road One Media production. All rights are reserved.